Ladies and gentlemen, this is very important. I know that people don't really see it. And I know people are saying, well, why are you always spending time on this? And why are you talking about Kanye 2020? What does it have to do with President Trump? This is the best thing to happen to President Trump. This is the best thing to happen to the country. This completely short circuits the Democratic Party matrix. It completely rewrites the computer program that the Democratic Party and media run by. It is Kanye West and Trump are the antithesis of today's apoplectic, hysterical, fanatical, left-leaning paradigm. They're the antithesis. They don't care about what media or Hollywood or the wonderful intelligence chiefs that we have think about them. They're going to do their own thing. President Trump has signed the First Step Act. President Trump his administration has given more money to historically black colleges and universities than President Obama in his first 4 years. President Trump signed the only executive order ever combating anti-Semitism on college campuses. President Trump's the first president to step foot in North Korea. President Trump, most importantly, is bringing home Americans from never-ending counterinsurgency conflicts. So, I'm voting for President Trump for those reasons. Professor predicts Kanye West could tap into protest vote if he follows through with White House bid. He is, and he can get on the California and New York ballots. And that is very, very possible that it's almost not just possible. He's on the Oklahoma ballot. If he's on the California and New York ballot, there goes the popular vote for Democrats. They can complain and blame Russia, and they can call Kanye West Vladimir Putin 2.0. If they do not win the popular vote, if they don't win the popular vote and they lose the electoral college, if they lose the electoral college and win the popular vote, they're done. They're done. But they could still rebound. It'll take a while. It'll take a long time. They can still rebound. If they lose the popular vote and they lose the electoral college, they're not going to rebound for a long time. A long time. Could be a generation. They have nobody waiting. People forget President Obama had an amazing, groundbreaking, storied speech in 2004 when Kerry was the nominee. So he made a name for himself with a very moving and breathtaking DNC speech. And people said, okay, this is the future of the Democratic Party. President Obama is the future of the Democratic Party. And so people forget that he came into 2008. He came into 2008 as some like the future of the Democratic Party. There is no future for the Democrat. Hillary Clinton's going to be nominee. They will have lost twice with Madam Secretary. Now, think about that for a second. They're not going with Biden. That's absurd. Luke St. Martin, Eric, H526, thank you. To my super chat, thank you. People, to my super chat and to my viewers in the chat and the super chat and to my Patreons, I just want to thank you very, 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 very much. My new Patreon members, thank you very, very much. You allow me to be an independent voice, and I just thank you. If you want to be part of a newsletter, it's contactgoodman78@gmail.com. So email me at contactgoodman78@gmail.com. But you have to look, ladies and gentlemen, at why the popular vote is important. Why is the popular vote important? Why is Kanye West extremely important in 2020? People don't realize they are going to see the Democratic Party is going to descend, unfortunately, upon Kanye West, and he is not going to care at all. He's big enough and influential enough to ignore them and to fight back. So is Trump. What they don't understand is that they don't like people who fight back. They don't like people who fight back. They don't like people who undermine the Democratic Party, theme or talking points, or like the narrative. Democrats say, well, we have to elevate voices of color, and then Kanye West runs. Oh my God. They're trying to disparage his mental state. They're going after him. He's Vladimir Putin 2.0. And you have a situation where he basically, like Trump, like Tara Reid, like the fact that they haven't passed a Medicare for All bill in the House, like the fact they haven't passed any major Green New Deal legislation. I mean, they're the biggest hypocrites on the planet. Scott, hello. Scott Whitehead, hello. They're the biggest hypocrites on the planet. J-Man! Jeep, exhausted and want to give up. They're going to want to give up when they lose again. And so you have this, I'll just read you this. Professor predicts Kanye West could tap into protest vote if he follows through. Jason Nichols says the rapper could have the same impact on 2020 race that Jill Stein did on 2016 result. I think that is 100% accurate. I think that's 100% accurate. By the way, I was on RT in a segment with Professor Nichols. I think he's 100% accurate regarding Kanye West. And I think that I'll even add that I think Kanye West will get, if he gets on the ballot, and I think he will in California and New York, I think he can get at least 7 million to 8 million votes, which would really tank the Democratic Party in terms of the popular vote and also the Electoral College. They're done. They don't see, like, they don't see what's coming. Kanye West himself is bigger than the entire DNC. He has, 10 times, if you want to talk about how much money they have, 10 times, 20 times more money? I don't even know how much the DNC has, but Kanye is a billionaire. He's world renowned. Nobody cares or knows what the DNC even is around the world. Nobody cares about the Democratic National Committee, and nobody really cares about the Democratic Party. They just intimidate their own voters, and their own voters come back for more. I was on the left, I know. You don't enjoy anything to do with the Democratic Party. Nothing. You enjoy Kanye West, his music, his personality, his art, his mind, people might not agree or like him or whatever, but he's still relevant every day to the lives of millions of people throughout the world. Democrats are not relevant. They simply serve as a foil, or they've tried to create them, manufacture the viewpoint that they're a foil to Trump. Nobody cares. Nobody looks at the Democratic Party and says, wow, that's so great. I feel good after listening to Tom Perez or Biden speak. Nobody cares what they say about anything. They are propping themselves up because they have every single possible advantage, and they still are going to lose. They're not going to win. You think, does anyone truly believe Biden is up by 15 points? Why? Because do they think they're going to hide? Like, first of all, it's going to be Hillary Clinton. I will have made the biggest political call of all time. Do they think they're going to hide? Do they think they're going to hide Biden just under the woodwork, like in a basement for the next 2 months, 3 months? We have 3 months until the election. July, August, September, October. We have 3 months, people. They waited this long just to pass the baton to Hillary. You think people are going to care? I don't understand why people say, oh, well, they'll never accept going from Biden because he won the primary. So what? Who cares? They don't even have a primary. J-Man, I love you, but I gotta delete that. I apologize. J-Man, and I have to abide by YouTube policies. I apologize, but I gotta do that. But J-Man, thank you. I do apologize though, but I have to. I'm like super paranoid and like extremely cautious and careful. Because this channel, H.A. Goodman's other channel, check that out. I have a very important segment on H.A. Goodman's other channel. J-Man, thank you. My voice, your voice, everybody. Clinton is going to be nominee, and I will be the only person in all of YouTube. So the channel's going to do well. My voice will, increase in profile, or I'll increase, whatever. And my viewership will increase, and the people who watch me now, I appreciate. A lot of the people who watch me now watched me in 2016 and 2017, 2018, 2019, and this year. So 16, 17, 18, 19. It's been 4 years that I've been on YouTube. And the channel has grown, and I have a small but growing channel on H.A. Goodman's other channel. But, I always say, look, I'm going to pick up, I do about a segment a day on H.A. Goodman's other channel, but that's going to be 3 to 4 a day when things really start rolling. Thank you, Eric H526. Thank you. Brooke, Shabbat Shalom. Thank you, Brooke. But think about President Trump lost the popular vote by less than 3 million votes. Clinton got 4 million, about 6 million votes in New York and California. Okay? She got 6 million votes in New York and California over Trump. Okay? Without New York and California and those 6 million votes, and she outspent Trump 2-1. She outspent Trump 2-1. Then you hear this like absurd, like, oh, well, Biden has more cash on hand. Biden does not have as much cash on hand as Trump. And Biden has more cash on hand than Clinton because Clinton outspent him and outraised him at this point. Clinton had a lot more money at this point, a lot more, and she spent a lot more. Who cares if he has cash on hand? Nobody even wants to hear him speak. So what do they care if they switch from Biden to Clinton, which they will? And everyone will understand what I wrote in 2017. Everyone will understand what I wrote in 2017. So it was less than, and then Gary Johnson got, Gary Johnson got 4.5 million votes. All right. Gary Johnson got 4.5 million votes. And that's 4.5 million votes that basically Democrats got because libertarian voters ain't voting Democrat, and if anything, they're very likely they're going to vote Trump or sit it out. The Democratic Party is not going to have a real impact this election. So, at all. So, I mean Libertarian Party. But ladies and gentlemen, you got to ask yourself, do they have, like, I'm trying to like sound the alarm, or at least, tell everyone how important Kanye West is, because I don't think people realize this. It's not just winning the Electoral College, which President Trump will win the Electoral College. He might even win Minnesota. You don't have $1.4 billion in property damage by one estimate throughout the country. And you don't have 10,000 arrests, and you don't have 5 Democratic-run states with over half of the lives lost. This is according to the New York Times. And over half of the lives lost, and only over half of all the cases in the entire country in 5 Democratic-run states. You don't expect voter turnout to be fantastic. You can't have voter turnout to be fantastic when you have told people that they will spontaneously combust. Okay? Don't expect voter turnout to be really amazing when you've told people that if they dare leave the house, that they're not coming back anymore. So you have to ask yourself, they rebounded because of the Mueller probe and impeachment, and they were able to save face. Like, they lost, they were mortified, they were yelling and screeching and screaming, and they rebounded instantly. It was Russia's fault. They don't have the intelligence community anymore, and anyone that just pops out of the woodwork, no one's going to really care about. Because President Trump pretty much has wrestled control of the intelligence community. That could be a bad thing going forward. It could be a bad thing going forward. Right now, President Trump he's on the side of history. They're not on the side. People tell me, oh, you're on the wrong side of history. No, I'm on the right side of history. I'm on the right side of history. Trust me on that. But what happens on November 3rd, on November 4th? They're going to lose the election. But if they lose the popular vote, which Kanye West, it's so important. It's so important. It's so important. It's so important. Nobody realizes how important this is. Nobody sees beyond one day. Nobody sees beyond even half a day. Everything is like whatever takes place that moment they're focused on. They forget the past instantly, and they can't see beyond a day. And I'm telling you, I'm looking at November 4th. You need to circle, every day. How many days till November 4th? Let's find out. How many days until November 3rd? Sorry. 108 days, people. We got what, 3 months and a week? Do you understand that? 3 months and a week. And I don't see Luke St. Martin, Eric H526, hello. I don't see them with any long-term strategy for how to rebound if they lose, when they lose. Because if Trump loses, which he won't, he'll run again. Like Grover Cleveland, he'll have 2 non-consecutive terms. You think they're going to stop Trump from what? He didn't do anything wrong. What did he do wrong? I want to know what he did wrong. Oh, he worked with Russia? No, he didn't. They didn't even impeach him on that. What did he do wrong? Those tax returns? Well, the IRS has his taxes. The government literally has his tax returns because he's either being audited or the government has never had an issue with him. So what do they have on Trump? Oh, they impeached him on what? Because a bunch of academics and a bunch of people who don't like him in the government say, well, he withheld military assistance to interfere in the election? Give me a break. They have no evidence at all. They impeached him on subjective allegations, not legal statutes. Obstruction of Congress is not a legal statute. Ask Eric Holder about obstruction of Congress. He was held in contempt of Congress, and like over 10 Democrats voted for that as well. What plan do they have? What plan do they have for November 4th? Tell me what plan. Do they have any plan for November 4th? Do they have any plan for when they lose? And what happens if they lose the popular vote, which I think they're on their way to losing? Kanye West takes about 7 to 8 million votes away. They only won by 3 million votes in 2016. So what are they going to do? What are they going to say? I don't think anyone even thinks about this. And then people say, well, they're going to cheat. They're going to cheat. Well, what's the point of cheating if you're not going to get close? They're not going to get close. They're not going to get close. So if they get close, that's an issue. Yeah. If they get close, yeah, sure, it's an issue. Of course it's an issue if they get close. But with Kanye West, are they really going to get close? With Kanye West, are they going to get close? They only won by 3 million votes. And like the apoplectic, seething, fuming, hysterical, fanatical media coverage of Trump doesn't work. Nobody cares anymore. The average American is already tuned out. They look at when they type in Trump, you either have two types of people. People who roll their eyes and say, okay, here we go. I don't care what people think. I'm going to vote for Trump. And people who say, my God, he is bringing about the Armageddon. So those people voted for Clinton and they'll vote blue no matter who. It doesn't matter. But the people who either roll their eyes or say, I don't care or whatever, like, they're blaming Trump for things that aren't his fault. Like the pandemic's not Trump's fault. And they say, well, his response. They wouldn't listen to Trump anyway. Just ask Eric Swalwell, who check out what he said about masks. He literally told people not to wear them. And he tweeted that out. Democrat Eric Swalwell, running for president Eric Swalwell. Then you have New York's governor saying that, the risk remains low, so they're all over the place. Jimbo! How will the debates look with West, HSC, and Donald Trump? Well, I don't think that he'll be in the debates, but that would be amazing, though. That would be awesome. I mean, the debates, if he runs as a Republican, he could become the Republican nominee. And it doesn't matter what the Republican National Committee does. The RNC couldn't stop Trump, so they're not going to stop. Kanye. If he ran as a Republican, he could become president. I mean, that he could easily become president if he ran as a Republican. If he creates he's able to communicate a message that resonates with conservative voters. He'll be able to, and then his message would very likely also resonate with Bernie Sanders supporters who aren't really Democrats at all. They're not Democrats at all. I used to bristle at that, but it's true. Bernie Sanders supporters are not Democrats. if he debated Ted Cruz, Marco Rubio, he would do exactly what President Trump did to them, but in a different way. Nobody wants the good Republican anymore. They want somebody to bring home Americans. Bringing home Americans is a populist message. It's a populist message. It's a populist message. It's not a traditionally conservative or traditionally liberal message. Just ask, look, Bush, Cheney, and Rumsfeld could not do what they did without Clinton, Biden, Kerry. That's why I'm supporting President Trump, because he's not a traditional Republican. I wouldn't support President Trump if he didn't want to bring home Americans. If he didn't sign that deal, if he wasn't the first president to step foot in North Korea, if he didn't sign an executive order combating anti-Semitism on college campuses, if he didn't sign the First Step Act, if he didn't increase funding to historically black colleges and universities by a substantial margin over what President Obama did. So, look, I really don't think that I really don't think that they realize. I don't think that they realize. I don't think that they realize what will happen on November 4th. I don't think they realize what will take place on November 4th. I don't think they realize what will take place on November 3rd. Because they don't have they've spent their entire lives for the past 4 years saying that Trump is the worst president of all time. So when they lose again, what happens to them? If I say don't believe another person because I'll defeat that person in an arm wrestling match or whatever, in the octagon or in the Super Bowl, and that person only won last time because he cheated, and you know what, that person is horrible, and and then I lose again, or my team loses again, then what happens? You can't at a certain point, Democrats, even if they don't accept defeat, people are going to the factions that have given so much allegiance to the Democratic Party are going to break off, and they're going to say, well, why do I even care about this political party? The whole point of me voting Democrat and condemning Trump every day was I thought that I'd get political power and influence from it. Why am I even on Twitter? I'm not on Twitter, but people are going to say, why are they even going to be on Twitter or Facebook? President Trump's going to take social media down with him. With the Democratic Party. When President Trump wins on November 3rd, and he will, they have no message. They have no policies that people are going to rally around. They have no message, no policies. They have nothing inspirational. Everything is hyperbole. Everything is this apoplectic, fanatical, hysterical diatribe against Trump. Why are people voting Democrat? Oh, because they're not Trump. So people are actually voting for Trump. People are actually voting for President Trump. They're voting for President Trump. They're not voting against Democrats. Mitt Romney, you're voting against Democrats. John McCain, you're voting against Democrats. That's why they lost. So, you have to understand, it's like, when they lose the election, do you really think, let's just say I'm wrong, which I'm not going to be, but let's say I'm wrong. let's say I'm wrong. You think that, can you imagine President Biden? Does that even make any sense to you? President Biden? Biden wins the presidency. Does that make any sense to you? Like, forget about the fact I'm a Trump supporter. I'm not gonna make the same mistakes they made in 2016. I want to actually find out why they like Biden. Okay, does he want Medicare for all? No. Did he vote alongside Bush, Cheney, and Rumsfeld? Yes. Can he actually articulate a thought? No. Does he have any charisma at all? No. Does he have any policies that the Democrats are rallying around? No. So tell me, Trump had all those things. I knew when I was the biggest Bernie Sanders booster on the internet, according to the Huffington Post, I knew that, Trump had charisma. I knew he had those things. Okay? So, I knew he had those things. I want to know why people are voting for Biden. People are voting for Biden because they're not. It's going to be Hillary Clinton, but people are voting for Biden because he's not Trump, and the media is like basically Trump's going to usher in the end of humanity, which literally is what Noam Chomsky said. And so he votes for Clinton. Okay. But, you it makes no sense. It makes no sense because it's absurd. They're not going with Biden. I am literally the only person who is telling you this in all of YouTube from 2017 until today. And they were never going to go with Biden. It was never, ever, ever it was never a situation where they could, it was never a situation where they were truly passionate about Biden, because there's nothing to be passionate about. The whole thing was a charade. The whole thing was a charade. So, but if they lose the popular vote and they lose the electoral college, then how do they paint Trump as a madman and a despot? Because you can say, yeah, well, despots, win the popular vote, because if you vote for anyone else, it's not going to be a fun time for you. But in our country, in this world, they have painted the popular vote as a mandate. They have a mandate against Trump because they won the popular vote. But what happens when they don't win the popular vote? So more people voted for Trump, which means that Trump supporters are in the majority. Because they've spent 4 years saying Trump supporters are in the minority. They don't really, Putin, swung the election. It's not really like, he cheated. America really didn't want Trump, but, he found some way to be. So I find it fascinating. I don't think anyone really, gets it. They don't get how important it is. They don't get how important it is. They don't understand how important it is. And, when President Trump wins, they're going to have to devise and craft a new message. I have no clue how they're going to get out of it. They don't really have enough time to demonize Kanye West. They don't have enough time to really, they've already used Russia, so that nobody cares about that. Are they going to pick another country? Who knows? I don't know. I think they're already saying that China is going to help Trump, which is bizarre, because I don't think, if anything, through tariffs and other issues, China did help Trump with North Korea, but let's look at here. So let's look at the Fox article. Okay, so Trump, Kanye West. Okay, so professor predicts Kanye West could tap into protest vote if he follows through the White House bid. So I'll just read it again. Rapper Kanye West could receive a sizable protest vote if he goes forward with his quixotic presidential campaign, University of Maryland African-American Studies professor Jason Nichols told Tucker Carlson tonight, Friday. I don't think there's any chance he's going to win, but I think people need to understand the power of the protest vote, Professor Nichols told Lisa Booth. There are many people who are completely dissatisfied with the direction of the country is going under Donald Trump, and there are people who don't like Joe Biden, who don't think he's coherent or competent, or whatever it is that's the narrative, and they're looking for someone who's another option. So Nichols told Booth the impact could be comparable to Jill Stein, who received more than 1.4 million votes. I agree, and I think he's going to get far more than 1.4 million votes. I think he's going to get a lot more. I think that he'll get a lot more than 1.4 million votes. A lot more. And they're still harping. On Jill Stein. Oh my God. Jill Stein took 1.5 million votes from us. Oh my God. And they're still talking about the 77,000 votes. And just the other day, let's see. Clinton said he's not going to leave office. Oh my God, he won't leave office. He's going to stay there, going to need SEAL Team 6. So ladies and gentlemen, let's see here. Trump will not leave. And then there's on the Boston Herald, Joe Biden needs a nap. That's hilarious. In the Washington Post, why Trump can't persuade America to hate Joe Biden. Nobody cares about Joe Biden enough to hate him. Then you have Hillary Clinton 2016 votes. I tried to warn you. I would have done a better job in the pandemic. This is all like the past 3-4 days. Everything has to be all about him. So but you'll see, like, when he makes an impact, and Kanye West will make an impact, look at how much time they've spent on Putin and Russia and Facebook ads. Look how much time they spent on trying to impeach President Trump. This was all. It has nothing to do with national security. It has nothing to do with. I mean, Hillary Clinton. It's all for Clinton, and it's all for the Democratic Party to kind of rebound and just remove Trump from office. Not really because he's doing a bad job, but because he embodies, or he's the antithesis of what Democrats stand for. Everything's ambiguous. Everything is vague and broad and nothing specific. Like, he didn't cover up a break-in in Watergate. He didn't do anything specific. He didn't pay Russian hackers to, infiltrate the DNC. Nothing specific. But it's his contacts and his rhetoric. And it's like when you look at what he's done as president, it's pretty good, considering he had zero support from media. And when I mean zero, I mean like literally zero support from media. Jimbo! Hilarious. Donald J. Trump, Melania, last stand in the Oval Office, Bonnie and Clyde style. Exactly. Jimbo, what do they think it's going to be like? What do they think it's going to be like the last scene in Scarface? I mean, Jimbo, exactly. They think it's going to be the last scene in Scarface? And they're like, Trump won't leave. It's just like Hillary's. We have to be ready for the possibility Trump won't leave office. This is when Clinton also said that, the Russians want Tulsi Gabbard. Nobody likes Bernie Sanders. I mean, the whole thing has been paving the way. And when she becomes nominee, I will have made the biggest political call of all time, ladies and gentlemen. Only 2 channels in all of YouTube, H.A. Goodman and H.A. Goodman's other channel, will have called this. Like, literally just 2 channels in all of YouTube. Mr. Mandela! Can't wait for Biden to run on anti-Semitic. Well, the Democratic Party, in my view, has catered to that. I wrote my Jerusalem Post op-ed. In my view, the Democratic Party, when you have calls to boycott the only Jewish state in the world by Democrats, I view that to be anti-Semitic. It has nothing to do with helping people at all. And I understand the counter argument, which I don't really want to get into, but Democrats really don't care about the counter argument. And if they did, they wouldn't engage in certain behaviors. Whatever, that's a whole other thing. But Mr. Mandela, thank you. It's unbelievable, Mr. Mandela and Jimbo. It's unbelievable how Biden has the audacity, and he's forgiven. He has the audacity to say, Mr. Mandela, thank you. He has the audacity to say that if you have a problem deciding between me or Trump, you ain't black. Only a Democrat could get away with something so arrogant and ignorant and offensive. Only a Democrat could get away with that. And then they demand allegiance from all their voters and obedience from all their voters and loyalty. But the good thing, aside from me being the only person on the planet who said that Clinton will be nominee, the good thing that when she becomes nominee, everyone could breathe a sigh of relief, because we'll understand why all of this took place, from the Steele dossier to everything going on now. There was always a political angle to everything. There's a political angle. There's a political impeachment was purely political, nothing to do with any crimes, nothing. It was politics. Then when you called them out and you said, well, nothing to do with crimes. What did it have to do with crime? There were no crimes. Oh, well, it's also a political statement. Well, we have to impeach him because of his behavior. Clinton's on the Daily Show, and it's funny, too, because Mr. Mandela and Jimbo, everybody here, it's kind of funny, too, because the closer this gets to the convention, the more that I'm getting the sense that I got in 2016 when Clinton, when I knew Clinton would lose the election. I never realized the extent of the cheating with Bernie Sanders, which is why I was so confident or optimistic about Bernie Sanders, because they did cheat him. And we know because Debbie Wasserman Schultz was forced to resign. And there pretty much was a cover-up. Comey talked about intent. It's funny, too. When I bring up the Clinton email server fiasco, I'm using Comey's own words. So they don't realize that James Comey has he never had the goods on Trump, but he fabricated the goods on Trump. Like he fabricated the Comey memos are nonsense. The Comey statement on Clinton is not nonsense. It's actual. Let's put it this way: it's as much. It's the most factual information we're going to ever get until John Durham or William Barr or Judicial Watch uncover more intent and factual information. And maybe Agent Pepsi, you're right. Maybe he was in on it from day one. Maybe he was in on it from day one. But, Mr. Mandela, thank you. And Jimbo, thank you. It's going to be so awesome when Clinton becomes nominee. Honestly, I respect Hillary Clinton more than I respect Bernie Sanders. Love President Trump. I'm voting for President Trump. But you know what? I want Darth Vader to actually come out as Darth Vader. I don't want to say oh, who's that character? Oh, is that Luke Skywalker? And then find out, oh my God, it was it was the it was actually Darth Vader in disguise. I want to know who a person is. So Clinton is honest with, Hillary Clinton is the only politician who's honest with the duplicity. Because she'll always be there saying, yeah, Tulsi Gabbard is a Russian operative. Well, what's the problem? Then when people get upset, she's like, well, I didn't use Tulsi Gabbard's name. I didn't really use Tulsi Gabbard's name, and so, Now, I agree with you, if they truly believed that Biden was up by 15, they wouldn't bring Clinton. Even I'll say that, but I don't think they believe that. I think the people, that's why the DNC spokeswoman with Fox News, this is how much the DNC and Democrats have media and American political, media and journalists in the palm of their hands. The DNC spokeswoman says, she's like, well, we're not officially nominating Joe Biden to take Trump. And nobody says anything. Even Bill Hemmer's like, okay, well, have a nice day, and I'll talk to you later. Okay, bye. It's even me, I was like, well, that can't be. My whole life for the past 4 years, Clinton's going to be running again every day. And then I hear that from the DNC spokeswoman, and even me, I'm like, that is probably just, she misspoke. I mean, Clinton's going to be nominee, but surely the Democratic spokeswoman misspoke. Then I listened to it again, and I did a segment on it. 2 people saw the segment. But she didn't misspeak. She was like, we're not. It was the only time in history I actually had a grasp of technology. Look, we're not, slowed it down. No, I actually didn't do that, but we're not officially nominating Joe Biden. I'm like, whoa, she really said that. That's amazing. I think the Democrats kind of realize that but I do agree that, if they did think that, they would not roll out Clinton. That's for sure. 100%. I think, though, that they don't think this. I think that once Biden speaks, when he speaks, you actually age. Biden looks like a wax statue of himself that came to life. Biden looks like a wax statue of himself that came to life. Biden looks like Rip Van Winkle's nightmare. He looks like an exhumed body and communicates like one. You're talking about a person who has the charisma of a cadaver that got Botox and plastic surgery. I don't think he's going to be nominee. This is a centennial of the 19th Amendment. They're not going to roll. It's not the 19th Amendment didn't give, cadavers the right to vote. They gave women the right to vote. Women. Could you imagine? Repeal the 19th. I'm just joking. Exactly. Prime Matrix. Biden looks like Fire Marshal. It looks like Fire Marshal Bill. Exactly. He really does. Oh my God. Let me tell you something. If I take this here and pretend I'm Biden, I'll be replaced in 2 seconds by Clinton. Repeal the 19th. Repeal the 19th. Biden's gonna say at the convention he wants to repeal the 19th. That's so funny. That's so funny. Oh my God, that's so funny. You see, like Melania Trump's moment with Trudeau goes viral. Like, what's the problem here? Everything is everything. When they had President Obama and Bush visits a library and President Obama visits a gym. Trump visits the gates, the gates of Dante's Inferno. Dun dun dun. Like nothing. Like the man can't visit anywhere. Do you understand? I don't want to hear anything about Trump. There's like a vape store. Do you see that on YouTube? There's a vape store, and the person doesn't want to help the customer because he's wearing, "Make America Great Again" hat. Nobody's wearing Biden 2020 gear. The only riding with Biden thing, I have it. I'm the only person who's worn anything to do with Biden. So, let me tell you, I got a small favor to ask you. I still love Bernie's. I knew that Bernie was in on it when he was like, I got a small favor to ask of you. Chip in $1. We have a revolutionary campaign. What was that? I have to support Biden? Okay. When? Tomorrow? Next week? Okay, is this on tape? Next week or today? Which one? I'm busting my kumquats here. Which one? Next week? Okay, next week. Okay. I got a small favor to ask of you. Can you give $1 for Medicare for all? No? Okay. It's not going to go to Biden. Why would I give it to Biden? Okay. When do I give it to Biden? Next week. Next week I drop out. What, because of Elizabeth Warren? Because she said that I said a woman couldn't be president? Oh, my God, the yenta. Fine, next week, yeah. I just want to say this revolution will continue. I'm dropping out and help Biden veto Medicare for all. Thanks, everybody. That's the best I got, ladies and gentlemen. All right, ladies and gentlemen. To my super chat, thank you. People, thank you for the late show. Thank you for being here for the late night show. And I will try to do my live streams a bit earlier tomorrow. But check out, I'll have an upload almost certainly like around earlier in the morning, and then in the afternoon. Then I'll have my Mr. Mandela. Thank you. Then I'll have my live streams in the evening. Thanks, everybody. Subscribe to H.A. Goodman's other channel right now. I have a great segment on my thoughts pertaining to Nick Cannon and what the recent controversy. And if you want to support my voice long term, my Patreon is below. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you. And Reverend Fry, hello, thank you. And thanks, everybody. Sugar Watchers, thank you. Thank you so very much. Thank you so very much for watching in Morocco. Thank you. Jimbo, thanks, H.A. and Mods. Thank you, everybody. God bless to my super chat.